So, when I was first starting to write this presentation, I really wanted to understand that exact question. And so I went on my social medias and I said, what's the first word I posted? I was like, what's the first word that you think of when you think of Generation Z? And I got a ton of responses and it was great, but it wasn't enough. So I went and I sat in a coffee shop for I think like 8 hours one day. And just every single person that passed me, I asked them the exact same question. What's the first word that you think of? And it's now actually how I start my presentations. I have a word bubble of all the different words that people use. And screwed, ironically, is the first word that comes to most people's mind. They're they're screwed. Like that sucks for them. I feel bad for them. We have done some damage and they're gonna have to try and figure it out, is really the first thing that most people think about, which is wild to me because if it's such an awareness in so many people's brains, why are we not doing something about that? That's just one note. But outside of that, most people think Gen Z is that like misconception that is just wrong, is that they think that we're very lazy.
Mm.
They think that we are so lazy and they just don't understand how we're gonna do anything in life. And they probably think that we're screwed because of that reason. They're like, I'm scared for them. I don't think they're going to be able to do it. They think we're fairly incapable, which is interesting. And yeah, those are kind of the two that I would pair as the wrong misconceptions that I heard pretty regularly. Gen Z, I would say, has two things that they really tie themselves to in terms of what they're looking for at work. One of them would be flexibility, and the other one is technology. And so, flexibility, I believe it is, and I can get you the exact statistic. 65% of Gen Z says that working from home makes them feel more connected to their coworkers.
Mhm.
So the concept that they get to sit in their house makes them feel more comfortable to other people. And this, I think, is where the concept of the lazy description comes from. Because other generations look at this and they say, well, that's so lame. You want to sit at home. You don't want to leave. How lazy. You want to sit in bed. You want to do this. You want to do that. How lazy. And it's like, well, perhaps that's what you're thinking, and I can understand why, but let's take a different perspective at it. Generation Z was born and raised in a period of time where the internet and technology was advancing rapidly. And
Mm.
so they were sitting at home and they were learning how to use Facebook and learning how to use gaming platforms. I don't know anything about gaming platforms or which ones they were using, but they were learning how to do it. They were learning how to communicate with people from the other side of the globe at the drop of a hat. And so they were learning how to be vulnerable and how to create friends and how to manage relationships that came repetitively because they created partners that they liked playing with, they created people that they liked communicating with, whatever that is. And so they've created this new sense of world. And this is something that I'm still kind of trying to figure out how to talk about it, but we can try together. I think
Mm.
that I think that Gen Z lives in two worlds. I think that Gen Z lives in a physical world where I can touch this pen that's in front of me and I can write on this paper. And then they live in a digital world where you and I are right now.
Mm.
We are, yes, in the rooms that we are sitting in, but we are also together in this exact moment. We are communicating effectively. We are communicating at rapid speed. And we are in different parts of the globe completely. And so Gen Z has been raised in a period of time where this makes sense to their brain. And it's actually so simple to them. They're like, I'm just going to go play with my friend who lives in Brazil. I'm just going to go hang out with my friend from Africa. I'm just, like, it doesn't matter to them. It doesn't create this boundary. And so many other generations live in one world where it
Mm.
is the tools that they are using to do the things that they have to do, but it is not separate. And so they get labeled with lazy because they're using this tool, but in a way that is otherworldly. They are stepping out of the world that they are in and into something completely different. And they can do that while their body is in bed or on the couch or on a chair. And physically, in the physical world, most other generations are looking at them and saying, how lazy. And the Gen Z might be in their brain moving at rapid pace, doing insane things, but it just doesn't look that way to the person on the outside. And so I think that that's kind of where that label comes from. And technology is absolutely so important to them, and flexibility is really important to them, and they kind of go hand in hand, and that's why. But it's a funny concept. Do you see that in your kids and the other Gen Zs that you know?